declare we do have a quorum. Chair will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda for October 23 agenda, October 3 meeting minutes.
So moved.
Moved by Hess. I will second. Discussion. Anybody want any of those pulled for more discussion? Say so now. Hearing no request to speak, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Chairperson comments. It's important to keep the meeting on Wednesdays for my fire chief because that is the day they have their meetings. And
training
we
meetings.
start running around, and then also you, are off on that day, right, chief?
I just happened to be this week. I'm off on that day. It rotates.
Okay.
But when you're talking about wanting to move it earlier, today, any day would have been, or any time would have been fine by me.
I'm looking to probably move our meetings to 3:30 or 3 o'clock. But that will be, leave it up to either of you guys. Yeah, I know. Just give it some thought and, we will decide later. Okay. Ben, anybody on there for public comments?
No, sir.
Brandon, you have any public comments?
Okay.
Fire chief update, turn your radio off so we can get an update.
They'll find me anyway. All right, so, you guys shall have my monthly report in your packets. Held the monthly department meeting, attended budget meetings, ESC meeting. I met with, ISO, the Insurance Safety Office, about our ISO rating. We interviewed 2 applicants for membership for EMR only. Village president attended the township meeting in my place. I was at work and I couldn't get anybody to come in for me, where they signed our fire contract. Then they asked us for a bid for first responder coverage as well. So I'm putting together stuff for that, for the first responder coverage, which I'll present to them on November 11th, I believe,
When do you expect to hear back from them?
for first responder coverage.
Yep.
I would assume probably that night or very shortly thereafter. So we may be taking over Summit Township for first responder coverage along with our fire.
Where are they now?
Right now, they have their own first responder group, but they're starting to be few and far in between, and the ones that they are on there aren't available very often. So they're having to call Nakusa or us to come help. So I said, well, so we can get a price from you guys too. Holding SOG training and metering training tonight at the station. Attended the village board, promoted 2 captains, 2 lieutenants, and 1 EMS service director. Again, I'll have an outlay. I'm almost done with it. Ladder testing will be done on the November 14th. Finishing up fire contracts for 25. I attended the Wood County Fire Chiefs meeting. The meeting with Cranmore on the 28th for their, fire contract. We did the bonfire and the homecoming parade. And then on the 26th, we are doing, with PD, we're doing the drug take back at the fire station. And we are also gonna be doing, kind of coupling it with a chili feed to collect money for, Christmas baskets for people in our village who are underprivileged.
You had an EMS what position?
EMS service director. I was doing it.
Explain please what the
So basically they're in charge of all of our EMS operations.
Ah.
Everything to do with the state and all that stuff. That way I don't have to do it.
QA, QI, a whole shoot match.
Mhm.
Okay.
You can see our calls for the month. You can actually add one more because we had a CO call this morning. So we did 20 calls total for the month of September. Or October, I mean. I didn't change that. Sorry, that was my bad. That one. We're up to 209 for the year. And all the vehicles are good.
Not.
Yeah, you ain't kidding. You ain't kidding after this year. You ain't kidding.
Without objection, Eric, did you have something you came back in late? Do you want to make a public comment? Okay. Anything else, chief?
I'm assuming we talked about budget later. I do have, my budget should be in the packet for next year.
No,
you wanna talk about mine
we're
now?
not gonna separate it
You wanna talk about it now?
Part of your report now.
All right. So everybody can see my budget for next year. Oh, let's see. There are some areas that I brought down just with our membership not being as stout as it used to be.
What
And
is it now?
right now we're at 16 or 17.
Is that fire only, fire EMS
Fire
combined?
ambulance.
Okay. And you haven't gotten any EMR only yet?
We interviewed 2 yesterday.
Okay.
For EMR only, and I did take someone left an application on my door going to my office for another person to interview.
Okay.
You can see this year, I was at 102, 450. Next year I'll be at 103, 850. Moving some funds around, but all in all, I think it's a good budget. I like it. It'll be good for next year.
Any trustees, you wanna ask any questions on that?
Yeah, I got a couple, I guess.
Go ahead, Rick.
The fire inspector wages, do we have a fire inspector now?
Yes.
It is,
Actually, myself and,
so it's just included in the other?
Yeah.
Salaries, okay. What is the raises / other inspections? For 58 going to 53,000? What is that category?
oh, that's all my wages throughout the year.
Okay, that's all the wages for everybody?
Yep.
Okay.
Nick, anything?
Nothing that jumped out at me.
Madam President?
A big one you'll see is vehicles. We upped it quite a bit by 4,000 in each thing for vehicle replacement and fixing. Partly because of all the maintenance I had to do this year on my vehicles. They're just getting older, so.
Administrator, do you have any questions? None.
I do have
Go ahead,
one more.
Rick.
The police new vehicle fund, is that the 406 account, correct me if I'm wrong, is that just building and inventory, so if we need to buy another?
We're gonna stay on.
Oh, never mind.
We'll get there.
Don't mention it, or chief of the fire department may want a police vehicle too.
I'll ask that question later.
Yeah.
I will make sure you're the first one to ask.
Thank you.
Anything else? Anybody at the table here for chief, please? Okay, thank you for hanging around today, chief. Really. Okay, with great pleasure, we'll move on to the police department because under item 7B, I have a little statement to make about our police chief. Oh, done it. Since I sat in that seat for so long.
Good luck with that.
Okay, well then moving right along, as the fire chief indicated, same with the police department for homecoming. If you didn't get a chance to see a picture or a video of, the village clown in a pretend little, mini squad car, I'm sure either. No, not this time.
Oh, okay.
I'll show you a picture after the meeting.
I got a video.
Yeah, and she's got a video, so, so that was a big hit, and, again, we had extra staff on for that, and everything went smooth. We had our fall festival, or the elementary school had their fall festival on the 18th. I was asked, to provide, trick or treat bags for the PBO. So we did provide those for the school, and we've done that in the past. As Dustin said, we do have, the drug take back coming back on the 26th at the fire department. And we appreciate the fire department willing to continue to partner with us. They've been great over the last 5 years for sure. I've submitted my budget to, Administrator Martinson, or whatever his official title is of the day.
We discussed that this afternoon.
Oh,
Ben's not talking to me anymore.
oh, okay. I can come up with a bunch of names, but I won't embarrass them, but, and I think we've put together a sound budget, and I'll hit that after I hit the highlights of the rest of the monthly. We did, execute a civil search warrant across the street at 160 Market. You will touch on that, or you already did in your other meeting, or is that coming up yet?
5:30 pit meeting.
Okay. So I I'll leave you hanging on that one, but we did, work hand in hand and, Administrator Martinson is working with Nick Apps to come to a finality on that.
I will, expect a one-on-one with you after this meeting, because I won't be here at 5:30.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
You're very welcome. We did receive correspondence and I know this is coming up under B, so I will go back to the budget. That's okay.
Should go right now.
Okay. For the budget, what we have budgeted for the current year currently is 212, 500. Now, if we recall, we actually were budgeted over 300,000 for this year, and we took money out of that since we didn't place the fourth officer that we had intended to. So the 212 is the number that we've come up with after subtracting all of those other fees. So we are actually estimated at completing the year at about 220. I'm gonna do my damnedest to not get it there. But then we're proposing 250,000 for next year. That would include a cushion for my departure and a new chief to come on board. So there is some, I don't wanna say wiggle room, but that is, counting me on the books plus another chief for at least a portion of that time. Again, it does appear to be an increase on paper here, but in reality, it's actually a subtraction from what we asked for last year and were approved for. So, in case I would have any questions about the new vehicle fund, just might have some ideas.
Have at him anytime you want.
Yes, the $5,000 will be put into a new vehicle fund, which we currently do have running. I forget if we put 15.
Yeah, we transferred 15 this year
15 into it this year. Typically, in the past, we've been kind of all over the board. We've done, when I first started, it was 15,000 a year. Under Administrator Bossert, we went down to 10 for a couple of years, then we went up to 20. We have 2 squads right now that are sitting in very good shape. So we did think that if we were gonna make a cut someplace, that was the place to do it. So with this 5,000, we would be up to 20 in that fund.
Is that a pool that you do reserve to
Correct.
buy? How often do you purchase vehicles?
Well, it was on a 4-year rotation. We have bumped that up to, one was 5 years, one is 6, and now we're still running the 2018 at this point.
Okay.
So we do have, right now we have 3 squads, and that was done for the 4th officer. We kept that older squad.
Okay.
To be able to have a squad for that officer. At this point, when that squad is dead, we're back to 2 squads.
Okay.
Or at the point where it becomes not feasible to maintain. But we're not quite there yet. So,
Okay, thanks.
so we will, I mean, when we bought the last squad, it was about 55,000. So Ben and I will be working together to come up with a good plan for the next chief to be able to know this is when you will be set to buy a car, so someone doesn't come in and have a grandiose idea that we're gonna replace that 2018 immediately.
Okay.
Okay, so any other questions on budget related items? And again, I'm sure we'll beat this horse next month.
Nick or Rick?
Yeah.
Feel free.
Then I will move down to squad conditions. I did make an error on squad 1. I did not update that mileage from last month, so it's probably about 1,000 miles higher than that. I apologize for that. No known problems though. Citations were down a little bit this month, but if you look under arrest, we were busy with other things. So, again, still staying very busy with school activities, and that is going very well. Any questions on, I did leave the Southwood County thing hanging, the Humane Society hanging. With your permission, I'll leave that for item B. Okay. Any questions?
Chief, any question for Chief? Administration, any question?
No, unless you want me to give you an update on the building next door, what we found inside, or?
No.
Okay.
If he wants to keep 5:30 meeting, we'll let it 5. But one chief to another, I will be filthy.
Yeah.
All right, we are going on to 7B, and chief, before you start, this is, sometimes, you are lucky and sometimes grace just falls in your lap, and chief will explain more about that. We are, glad to see that we're going back to contracted instead of per animal, and he'll explain more while I am kind of jovial.
So, the current contract with Southwood County Humane Society, since I started here, and I'm not exactly sure when it started, but
After I retire.
after Chief retired, we went to a per animal, price. And so if someone were to take a cat to the Humane Society, say I found it in Port Edwards, we got a bill for $61, I think. $62, sorry. And if they came out to the village and picked up an animal, that's $91 per animal. So we never really knew what we were gonna get. And I have a bill sitting on my desk right now that looks outlandish and I have to go through it. But so what the Humane Society has done is they've averaged the last several years. They decided to bill each municipality based on their history. Well, luckily, we've had some down years, or we've, again, as Mr. Chairman can announce, they've proposed a $1,500 fee for this next year, which, again, when we look at it, it's like, what? But in speaking with one of our previous chiefs, the annual fee prior to 2015 was $2,500 a year.
Last year.
So, I think we're, again, not that I like to see something up front, but at least we're able to budget for and not be surprised if 10 animals get dropped off. We're on the hook for it. So, I had mixed feelings at first, but again, after talking to Chairman Zerflu, I think it's gonna be a good thing. As far as, do we need to approve the contract, or, I guess, formalities on your side of things, but it certainly, it seems like it's probably gonna be a good deal
Change
for
in
the village.
procedure, so it must have a motion and then be brought to the board for approval.
Gotcha,
If it was just financial, no, that would go to the FHR.
gotcha.
Where is that budgeted?
So that is actually under my police/safety community program. So it used to have its own line item, and it's still actually in the police budget for Police Humane Society, but it was just lumped together into the community programs. So, I had come up with this budget prior to having this knowledge. So, I mean, that is something that we may need to tweak slightly. We do have 1,500 in there. And, but again, that is also used for other community events, the bags, the trick or treat bags, that kind of thing. But we do still have a miscellaneous fund. So again, if we're not gonna be in peril, if that's just.
Is that where historically that's been charged also?
Correct. Any pens or, paraphernalia that the police department has put out, police stickers, anything community related, candy for the trunk or treat or parade, that has always come out of that fund.
So we've spent $226 year to date.
I believe we are. Yeah, that doesn't seem right.
Yeah, that includes all of the Animal Humane Society?
Yeah,
charges?
that's not, I haven't, like I say, I have an invoice from the Humane Society on my desk right now.
Just so we have enough in the budget to cover your anticipated expenses.
Yeah, I mean, again, just off the top of my head, if we're gonna be taking 1,500 out of it immediately just for that, if we had 2,000 in there, that would probably be more than plenty. You know. But again, that's something we can discuss further at another meeting.
Go ahead, Nick.
And this might be just a wild guess on your part. How often is the Humane Society gonna recalculate our rates? If we have a real bad year, one substantial hoarding incident,
Yeah.
are they going to then recalculate that curve killer of a year?
Well, I don't know the answer to that. That is actually the invoice that's on my desk right now that just
Okay.
came yesterday. So from what I saw, there was like a $1,200 bill that came in the mail yesterday.
I just did the math real quick. I'm like, we're one bad hoarding situation away from exceeding that, so I like the flat
Yes,
rate.
I do too.
But I'm wondering future wise what that's gonna do if we have a bad year or two.
Yeah, and again, I'm not sure if it,
22 years, it was usually about August or September, October, this time of year, they would send out a quote for the next year.
Okay.
But in the old days, one year it was a little bit, it was almost like a 33% increase and we didn't have the calls to justify it. So I called them up and they were easy
Sure.
to work with. I don't know how they are now.
well, that's the thing is they're under new leadership because Madison, the director has left. And so the letter that had come was from their board. So again, I wish I knew,
Something in your back pocket to talk to the new chief about.
right? So, but yes, so this line item is gonna get spiked as soon as I pay. This, you know, because again, we had 13 dogs and.
Just like Nick alluded to, that's the stuff that just,
Mhm. Yeah, and how do you prepare for it? How do you,
You don't.
you know?
anything else on that item?
Not unless there's any other questions.
Trustees? Okay, the chair will entertain a motion that for 2025, at a cost of $1,500, the Village of Fort Edwards Police Department will enter into contract with the Southwood County Humane Society. And I would kind of like to make that motion based on past practice and many years of dealing with it. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Hess. Discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, that motion carries. Good job on that. We might not let you retire.
I didn't really do too much, so.
Alrighty, I'm not talking about myself, old business. New business. Administrators. Correspondence received. I have nothing. Okay, agenda items for the next meeting, which I'm looking at. Any of my trustees or the president traveling on November 25th, which is the day before Turkey Day? If not, would 3 o'clock on that day work for you?
November 25th,
Yes.
is that Monday?
Should be Wednesday.
Or do you want the 27th, which is a Wednesday?
27th of you.
27th, okay, I'm sorry, yeah. Or do you wanna move it up to the 20th since it's so close to Turkey Day?
Either one works for me.
I
20th.
took that day-
Gentlemen, what would you prefer?
I took that day off. I'm available the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. I'm available the whole day.
If
You wanna do
anybody's
3 o'clock on the 27th then?
sure.
I'm available.
Okay. Betsy, are you in school?
I'm not.
Good. Ben,
I will be off that week, deer hunting.
That's
are you gonna come out of the tree stand for a meeting?
Just put just put an earbud in and you can listen.
You gonna be here?
Same thing.
You mean I'm all on my own?
Yes.
You guys will not have much money left when you get back.
Could do the 20th, if that would help. Either one of them.
Well, you'll be in school then, won't you?
Yes,
Okay.
What's the earliest you could be here after school?
3:30.
3:30?
Mhm.
All right, let's go 3:30
My seventh
The
or 20th?
20th?
on the 20th.
20th, okay.
Okay.
Right on.
And as you will learn, Nick, I don't like changing my dates. We've been the fourth Wednesday for a while, but for something like this, we'll do it.
If anybody's gonna be traveling for Thanksgiving,
You're traveling?
if anybody is, I might,
Oh,
if anybody is, it would.
I was gonna say, you're gonna travel 8 days before Turkey Day?
No, the
So now
twenty-seventh.
Now we can all go in the tree stand.
Yep.
Any agenda items? We don't have to put this on there, but in your report, remember to give an update on Humane Society. That's $1,000. Good point again, Nick, on that. Alrighty, next meeting date, we already set for the 20th of November 24 at 15:30 hours. 3:30 for civilians and up there. Trustees, anything else? Anybody have any comments before we adjourn? Without objection, I will call the meeting to, I will adjourn the meeting at 4:58 PM. Thank you, everyone.